In Genesis chapter 45, verses 25 through 27, we read, "So they went up out of Egypt and came to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan. And they told him, 'Joseph is still alive. In fact, he is ruler of all Egypt.' Jacob was stunned. He did not believe them. But when they told him everything Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the carts that Joseph had sent to carry him back, the spirit of their father Jacob revived." Yesterday, we celebrated Resurrection Day. And today we celebrate a resurrection of another kind, as we are reminded that our dreams are still alive. If the dream that you believe God gave you seems dead, listen to these words again. They told him, "Joseph is still alive. In fact, he is ruler of all Egypt." Jacob was stunned. He did not believe them. But when they told him everything Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the carts that Joseph had sent to carry him back, the spirit of their father Jacob revived. For years, Jacob believed that his son Joseph, the dreamer, was dead. But it was a lie. In his old age, wagons loaded with riches came to carry him back to see his son, who was now the prince of Egypt. Notice that when Jacob first heard the news, he did not believe them. When you have lived in defeat and discouragement for years, it is hard to anticipate victory. No problem. God is patient. He will keep working with you. He will demonstrate His grace and His goodness in such a way that you will start to trust Him again. But when they told him everything Joseph had said to them, and when he saw the carts that Joseph had sent to carry him back, the spirit of their father Jacob revived. Don't believe that your dream is dead and will never be fulfilled. And don't believe those who tell you that you're too old to fulfill the dream that God gave you. God can pack more into the last chapters of your life than all those that preceded them. Joel chapter 2, verses 26 through 28. God promised the prophet Joel, "You will have plenty to eat until you are full, and you will praise the name of the Lord your God, who has worked wonders for you. Never again will my people be shamed. Then you will know that I am in Israel, that I am the Lord your God, and that there is no other. Never again will my people be shamed. And afterward, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will see visions." God is the giver of dreams. And He doesn't just give them. He resurrects them. And He empowers you to fulfill them. It's not too late. You are not too old. What God did for Jacob, He can do for you. As I read this devotional in preparation for today's recording, I was taken back to my early days. As a kid, I wanted to be a world-class athlete, to play for championships, to go to the Olympics, and to make an impact on the world. There was just one problem. I was not an athlete. In fact, I was awful. I got cut from Little League. I played rec basketball when I was in 7th grade, and there were 60 players in the league. Over the course of the season, everyone scored, except one, me. But there were other ways to get involved in sports. My 7th grade reading teacher convinced me to become sports editor of the junior high newspaper. My 9th grade geometry teacher got me to serve as statistician and publicist for our freshman basketball team and for the junior high track team, which led me to getting my first articles in print for a local newspaper. In high school, the football coach, who was a neighbor, invited me to be the statistician for the football team, a job that eventually got me involved with another newspaper and a local radio station. The basketball coach, who was another neighbor, brought me on as statistician and team publicist, a job that became double duty when the girls' basketball coach added me to her staff. That move allowed me to be a part of 3 Elite 8 and 2 Final Four teams. And my biology teacher got me to write stories for local papers for our cross-country team, which allowed me to cover the state meet my senior year when our team made its only trip to states in school history. I also got involved in baseball as an umpire, and then it was off to college, where I was recruited to be a sports statistician for the men's basketball team. By the end of my first semester, I was the color commentator for the school's radio network, and then later on, during my freshman year, I was part of the radio broadcast team that aired the first state championship victory in the history of my high school. I became the voice of our basketball program on radio in my sophomore year, and I started working with the women's program as well, a move that sent me to 3 regional finals and 1 Final Four. And I served as the school's sports information director for 2 years, while also freelancing as a writer for local papers and a radio sportscaster for a local station. And my beat for the school newspaper was to cover our college football team, which allowed me to cover 3 bowl games as we finished number 2 in the nation twice. After college, I was working as a sports writer, while also working in a restaurant and starting off as a youth director. And all of that led to a full-time youth ministry job. The dream is now gone, right? A few years later, a student brought a prayer request that his school needed a basketball coach. He continued bringing that prayer request week after week. And finally, that request came with the addendum, if we don't get a coach this week, the school is going to cancel our season. I checked with the senior pastor. He said go for it. So I did. I began coaching at Orchard Hills Christian Academy. I subscribed to Coach Magazine to get some helpful tips, and a card fell out of the magazine offering some free medical supplies for schools. I filled out the card as our school had no budget for athletics, and I figured we could use the free stuff for the school. And when I filled it out, I was entered into a drawing for an event sponsored by Nuprin Pain Reliever that was for athletic coaches, trainers, and athletic directors. I totally forgot about it until one day I got a phone call from a travel agent. She was calling to arrange my trip to Colorado Springs, as my name had been chosen as a participant in the first ever Nuprin Fitness Championships. I was one of 24 from around the country who was invited to participate. And soon, I was on a plane to Colorado, where we competed at the United States Olympic Training Center. We ate training table meals. We met with Olympic gold medalist Steve Lundquist, and we were treated like elite athletes. We even got travel bags, gear, and received medals presented by Super Bowl champion and NFL head coach Dan Reeves. When our trip back to Denver for our flight home ran late, a couple of us found ourselves running through the Denver airport, hurdling items throughout the concourse as we raced to our gate. And as the plane took off, it dawned on me that I had just had my Olympic experience. I had forgotten all about my dreams from childhood, but God hadn't. And as I've served God and I now look back, I've been to a Super Bowl, a Major League Baseball All-Star game, 5 college football national championship games, college baseball's World Series, Final Fours in men's basketball, and all 3 of the women's divisions, and so many more unbelievable experiences in sports. And yes, in 1996, I made it to the Olympics, as I had the privilege of taking my youth group to watch Olympic soccer games. And I even became a champion in the most Tom way possible. I was on a bowling team at my home church when I moved to a full-time youth ministry position. The move forced me to give up my spot on the bowling team at mid-season, and at the time our team was in last place. Without me, the team caught fire, and my handicap provided a huge edge which propelled my team to the league championship. Months after leaving the team, I received a box, and in that box was a first place trophy and a check for my share of our winnings, even though I wasn't around for any of the team's success. And the box came with a note. Congratulations, we couldn't have done it without you. Don't give up on your dream. God hasn't given up on you. I want to thank all of you who helped us stuff Easter eggs for yesterday's Easter egg hunt. Grace did a wonderful job of putting the event together, and it was so much fun working with so many of you in the stuffing of the eggs. Y'all did an excellent job, and the children had a great time scooping up about 800 Easter eggs. And they also heard the story of the resurrection in an exciting way yesterday. So thank you. Also want to thank those of you who helped our mission partner, the Betty Griffin House, with their 5K Race for Peace in St. Augustine Beach on Saturday. It was so great to see so many familiar faces helping to make a difference in our community. Great job to all of you. Finally, it's your last chance to register for our 2023 VBS, Promised Land, which will take place June 12th through the 16th. Go to our website at wgv.church and find the VBS link. There are only a few spaces left. Have a great day today, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday with another word for you today. And remember, He is risen indeed.